What does it mean for a country to officially recognize femicide as a distinct crime? From now on, Italy will record the murder of every woman that is motivated by her gender as femicide. For some context in how large of a problem this is around the world, the United Nations reported last year that nearly 50,000 women and girls were killed by intimate partners or family members. Italy is the latest country to adopt a specific law in an effort to curb violence against women. And there is ample debate about whether this new law will change the reality for women, whether it's purely symbolic. But a major reason that this femicide law passed in Italy with such strong support across ideological political lines is that the country has been galvanized by a string of recent brutal murders of young women. As you might imagine, today's episode contains some discussions of violence that you might find upsetting. One of the most publicized cases was Giulia Tramontano. She was repeatedly stabbed by her partner while she was 7 months pregnant. Her murder, along with another case, sparked such fierce outrage across Italy, culminating in the passage of this new law on the day dedicated to the elimination of violence against women worldwide. From the BBC, I'm Asma Khalid, and today on The Global Story, we're going to speak to Giulia's sister, Chiara Tramontano. She told us it's the first interview she's granted to a non-Italian news outlet, and she joined us from the Netherlands, where she now lives. Chiara, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. I really appreciate it. I cannot imagine how difficult it is to hash through all the details of this story, but we do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for inviting me. I love talking about my sister, although it's very painful, but having the chance to just say her name to me is very important. So I'm happy to be here today.
Can we begin the conversation by having you just tell me about your sister, Giulia? What was she like?
She is, because I do love to use the present when I talk about my sister. She's a very sensitive person. She loves to hear about other people's stories, what they love to do. She loves to help people. She is kind. She's gentle. I say she's a rare flower in the garden.
What were the conversations with your sister like in the months prior to her murder?
At that moment, Giulia was already having some struggles with her, or I would say her boyfriend, and in telling me this, in opening up with me, we started having some conflicts because I was pretty tough. It was a complicated period in which I was just trying to be close to her because she was pregnant, but still we were growing a little bit apart because of our opinion about her relationship.
You mentioned her partner. Who was he, and what did you think of him at that time period?
I didn't spend much time with him, but in the few moments we shared together, or the few conversations that we had together, that was moments I immediately realized, this person is empty. He was a person who likes to put himself first, and that was immediately clear for me.
And so you all had grown up in Naples, and you say during this time period, when she's pregnant with this partner, you were in Finland. And where was she then during that time period?
Giulia studied and then stayed in Milan. She was working as a real estate agent, so she was in Milan.
Did your sister share anything that felt unusual to her in the last few weeks of her life? Did she raise any alarm bells about the relationship?
Yeah, she was definitely in, I would say, a tornado of emotions, because a few weeks before the 27th of May 2023, when I lost my sister, when she was murdered, she had found out that there was another person. She was sharing with me all the messages that maybe she had found hidden on her partner's phone, and some kind of other strange things like credit cards being used for gifts or a hotel and stuff like that. So she was definitely going through a thunderstorm. But those kind of signals were just alarm that her relationship was coming to an end. There was no red flag of violence. She was aware that she would have soon taken a decision, and she shared with me that that decision was to quit her relationship and just start over with the child alone.
When did you stop hearing from your sister? When did you actually realize that she was missing?
I think back then it was a Sunday, and on Sunday we normally have a phone call all together, a video call in which we share what are we gonna eat. But that Sunday, Giulia did not send any message. Yeah, we started looking for her on Sunday when, after a couple of calls, I would say it was early afternoon, we realized, well, it's very strange that we don't get any message since yesterday. And first answer of Giulia's partner was that he didn't know, and then he quit his call. He said, "Yeah, well, I don't know, but I'm now coming home from work, so I will check. I will see if she's maybe just in the bedroom, if she has turned off her phone, and I will let you know." But 10 minutes later, he called my mom back to say, "I'm going to the police station to report Giulia's missing."
Giulia's body is then found. And in reading this story, I see that her partner confessed to the crime. I cannot imagine how horrific this time period must have been for your family. How did you find out that Giulia's body was found?
Yeah. It is pretty clear in my mind. Is I think one of those frame of your life that you will never forget. 2 days of intense research and looking for Giulia, and my brother and I, we walked all day around the city. We went by car to the city of Milan and to the neighbors around, just to try to find something which could make us think of her. So in the night, my brother just told me, well, we left the car parked there and we have to go there. And on the way to pick up the car, he was really impressed by seeing these police officers already isolating or just marking the area where my sister's body was found. He actually recognized one of the police officers that who we were used to talk a lot with, and my brother asked him, "Why are you here? And who are all those people in this narrow street?" And that police officer just told my brother, "This is the moment to be strong, because in this street we found your sister's body." So back then I was at home, and it was 1 in the night. It was 1 a.m. and I got this call from my brother, and he told me, "It's finished. It's finished.
I'm so sorry.
You have to don't tell our parents anything, because we have to find another way, but just they found her. Giulia is here, and I'll stay here until she goes somewhere else." So he stayed there, and I was just at home with my parents, pretending nothing had happened. But actually the words was finished for us. Everything was done. There was nothing else to do.
I mean, how did you first learn who the suspect was in this crime?
I was watching a TV program very famous in Italy, and there were plenty of cameramen, journalists from this program actually filming some scenes at my sister's place, and it was streamed live. They were just filming the balcony of my sister's house. One of the journalists said, "We have to give the terrible news that Giulia's partner is officially suspected of murder and has been just picked up by police and is now at the police station.
Several months pass after your sister's body is found. And then at the beginning of 2024, I see that a trial began, and her partner, Alessandro, was charged. There was no femicide law on the books at that time. He was charged with aggravated voluntary homicide, I was reading, among other accusations, including the non-consensual termination of the pregnancy. What did you make of the specific charges and of the trial?
At first, I cried a lot. I do remember when the jury gave the verdict of life imprisonment, and then they just listed all the aggravating factors. I felt it's finished, and this came with quite a big pain, because with the end of the trial, I started being afraid of forgetting what happened to my sister, but not me. I was afraid that the world would forget my sister. I would just remember Giulia, because she was one of the many and too many victims of the 2023. So I cried a lot, and probably I cried so much that I started shaking. I remember I had to leave the room, and I was overwhelmed by pain because I was coming to an end of a big fight, and as such, at the end, I just, at the end of that fight, I was empty. I did not win anything. It was not the rightest verdict that I would have thought of, because they did not recognize the premeditation, which I do believe was instead so much clearer, because my sister had been poisoned for 6 months before being murdered.
You learned that during the trial?
When Giulia's autopsy was carried out by the hospital and by the University of Milan, they found rat poison in her liver and in other tissues. In the previous 6 months, she actually was poisoned with an increasing amount of rat poison, which was given to her in tea prepared by her partner and in water.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. If we look at what's transpired since the trial for your sister's murder, her case, along with another case in Italy of a woman by the name of Giulia Tremontano, really seems to have been a moment of reckoning for Italy on the issue of violence against women. I want to ask you about the law itself, the femicide law. Just last month, in November, the Italian parliament approved the official definition of femicide. Do you think that having a law that differentiates femicide from murder changes something?
Yeah, I do think it changed something. I do think it kind of speed up the trial itself. I think this is still not enough to stop people from committing a murder or from considering women a target. And from this, I think, rather than a law, we need education in this country. We need some kind of I would say, an approach at school in which we really teach what our relationship, how to approach the other gender, but this should happen in a prior stage, I would say, of man and woman growth, to prevent this kind of violence and hate.
Did you campaign publicly for the law?
Yes or no, I would say. I never really wanted to be the symbol of this fight. You know, like The reason why I am in the Netherlands is also that at a certain point in this story, I had to find myself and my identity. I soon became Giulia's sister, and I have to say that often people see in me the kind of symbol of a fight. I don't dare to say I kind of influenced what happened in Italy. I think they just saw this sister in pain, often telling the story in TV and trying to share awareness about what is violence at home and how does this appear, how does it show up, and other things like that. And this just helped and pushed a little bit the debate also in the political, I would say, rooms. But I just want to have my life back. But at the same point, I want to make something useful from this horrible story, and I don't want my sister. I don't want to know that or to think that she died for nothing.
I have one final question for you. I heard that you have a young niece, your brother's daughter, who's also called Giulia, and she was born in the fall of 2024. What's your message to her?
I wanted her to know that her name is associated to a big, painful story, but this doesn't mean that she has to bring this burden. She must be aware that the empty chair at Christmas table is a big sign for us. It's a sign of a hole, a tremendous, horrific hole that we're not able to feel anymore, which is represented by my sister's loss, but it also represents the love instead that Giulia, my niece, was able to give us. So she was able to fill a little bit that hole with her smile, with her words, to bring us back to life.
Thank you very much, Chiara. I know it's hard probably to just re-share and talk through it all over again, but thank you.
Thank you, guys. I am. This was the first time I decided to open, let's say, to tell a non-Italian person or a non-Italian channel about Giulia, and I felt ashamed of my life for quite some months. You know, it's a burden wherever you go. You don't feel like sharing. You feel like just you are telling the other people such a terrible, horrific story that they will never be able to react. And when I wrote this book, I made an oath with the publisher, and I said this will never be translated in another language, even if we get offer from another publisher. And this was especially meant for not sharing my story in the Netherlands. I wanted to be Chiara here. This doesn't mean that Giulia is not part of me. It's in another way. It is in all the things I don't do anymore. It is in the Christmas tree I'm also not able to make at home because I don't feel Christmas. But she doesn't have to be a victim of feminicide also in the Netherlands, because in the Netherlands she can be still Giulia. Like, I still have a sister. She lives in Milan. She has a child. So maybe after this interview, people will know more about her. This is a turning point of our life. And when I say our life, I say as women. Like, if we don't fight ourselves for our future, and if we don't overcome our fears, we will never get anything out of this terrible moment. So I'm now sacrificing my privacy and my, let's say, moment with Giulia and my personal story. And I hope this helps someone else in another part of the world, or just this helps push a little bit even more to maybe a better world where to live safe and just not be afraid of the person we sleep with. So thanks for having decided to know Giulia. And tonight she will be, I'm happy one more person knows her now, and you will not forget her. So I just made my point tonight. That's it.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.